Hi, this is Father R. Joseph Allison. Today I'm going to deal with the question, what is the Old Catholic Church? Very often when I tell people I am an Old Catholic priest, they think I mean I am a middle-aged or elderly Catholic priest. But being Old Catholic isn't about my age. It is a particular kind of Catholic. So when I say I'm an Old Catholic priest, I mean I'm a priest in the Old Catholic Church. So this begs the question, what is the Old Catholic Church? The Old Catholic Church is neither Protestant, nor is it the product of the Reformation. But the Old Catholic Church, while rebelling against papal claims, is a part of Latin Catholicism. Let me say that again. The Old Catholic Church is revolt against the claims of the papacy, but exists within Latin Christendom. It's a position that must be distinguished from, say, the Eastern churches, which have never been either Latin or subject to the papacy, or from, say, Anglican Catholics who were at one time Latin and under the papacy, but have ceased to be either one, and have established in the English-speaking world a third form of Catholic Christianity, neither Latin nor Eastern, and not under papal authority. So we look a lot like the Roman Catholic Church in many of the things we do, many of the ways we behave, because we come from that same Latin Catholicism that we have not rejected. We have not rejected Western Latin Catholic Catholicism. What we have rejected is certain claims by the Bishop of Rome, who is better known as the Pope. We believe that the Pope or the Bishop of Rome deserves respect because he is a bishop, and therefore, in the Catholic tradition, he is the heir to apostolic authority. We believe that all bishops are equally apostolic. Therefore, the Bishop of Rome is the same as the Bishop of Boston or Philadelphia or whatever other see there is. There is no hierarchy among the bishops. The apostles were equal, and therefore the bishops are equal. How did the Old Catholic Church come into being? Well, the original geographic center for the Universal Catholic Church was Jerusalem. Yet other religious centers soon emerged in Antioch, Alexandria, and elsewhere, including Rome. And Rome being the capital of the worldwide empire until the 3rd century, when Diocletian moves the capital to Nicomedia, and then of course later when Constantine becomes emperor and builds Constantinople and makes that the capital of the Roman Empire. For the first 300 years of Christianity, Rome is still the capital of the Roman Empire, and therefore the church in Rome, the church in the world capital, becomes a very prestigious church. When Constantine made Christianity a legal religion in the Roman Empire and then later favored it, Constantinople became the Christian geographical center of the world. The church councils confirmed Constantinople and Jerusalem as the primary centers of Christianity and listed Antioch, Alexandria, and Rome as secondary in importance. Nevertheless, even though the Christian church was centered in Constantinople, the Roman bishop began asserting that he was the head of the church. In the year 476, the Western Roman Empire collapsed for a variety of reasons, and basically what was once the Western Empire, the Roman Empire in Europe and Italy and North Africa, became subject to a group of competing Germanic kings. One of the Germanic tribes or peoples or nations, the Franks, through a process of conquest, began to reunite other Germanic peoples under their rule, creating a Frankish empire. Now, the king of the Franks wanted to be an emperor, and the Bishop of Rome wanted to be the head of the church. And so the Frankish kings and the Bishop of Rome worked out an understanding that the Bishop of Rome would recognize that the Frankish king is the emperor of the West if this emperor of the West would recognize that the Bishop of Rome was the head of the church in that Frankish empire. So with this agreement, we have the Bishop of Rome being the head of the church in the West, what will become the Roman Catholic Latin Church. This, of course, created more friction between the Western Latin Church and the Eastern Greek Church. This and other sources of friction would eventually lead to a split of the one church into two churches, the Eastern Orthodox churches in the East and the Roman Catholic Church in the West. And so by now you're wondering what any of this has to do with the development of the Old Catholic Church. And to this I can only counsel patience, grasshopper. I'm getting to it. The Old Catholic Church is the product of the Roman Catholic Church in the Netherlands. So remember, the Old Catholic Church is part of this Latin Christianity, this Latin Catholicism. The Netherlands were viewed as being out in the wilderness. For instance, we use the phrase in English, the nether realms, the nether regions, those places that are far away and difficult or impossible to get to. Well, the Netherlands, from the point of view of Rome, seemed to be out in the middle of nowhere, and it was too much effort and hassle and took too much time to get to it. So what the Bishop of Rome basically decided is that the church in the Netherlands, the Latin Catholic Church in the Netherlands, was basically independent. And this was made official first in the year 1125, and this was reaffirmed many times. The Bishop of Utrecht is basically the head bishop of the church in the Netherlands. They can name their own bishops, they can try their own bishops, they have their own curia, they basically have their own version of the Roman Catholic Church that's a Dutch Roman Catholic Church. So to reiterate, the Old Catholic Church is not a breakaway church, but it was granted authority to be independent by the Roman Pontiff, by the Bishop of Rome. So the Bishop of Rome himself acknowledged that the church in the Netherlands was independent. Therefore, the Old Catholic Church is a legitimate expression of Catholicism. So the Old Catholic Church traces its authority from this church in the Netherlands, which was independent. So it's a Latin church independent of the Bishop of Rome. And that's going to be very important in the 19th century when there's going to be an argument with the Bishop of Rome over the doctrine of infallibility. And that is going to be the issue that is going to cause the schism between the Old Catholic Church and the Roman Catholic Church. And that will be the subject of the next video.